So hi everybody, my name is Richard Sergeant from Principal Points. We're going to have a chat with Matt Lewns, who's the partner manager from iplicit. Matt, hi, welcome. Thanks for spending some time with us today. Tell us a little bit more about iplicit, and in particular, what kind of problems you're trying to solve and for what kinds of clients?
Yeah, sure. So iplicit in the shortest form is essentially a mid-market solution that's designed for those clients that have outgrown the entry-level systems, such as maybe your QuickBooks or your Zeros, or maybe those clients that are on-premise legacy finance software, such as maybe an Exchequer, Pegasus, something like that. And they're looking for something that has got a bit more maybe sophistication, a bit more complex requirements around it, and they maybe can't afford or don't see the value in going for those full-scale ERP systems such as maybe Dynamics, NetSuite, or Sage Intacct. So that's where we sit in the market really, and we've been designed specifically for what we consider to be that white space in the marketplace.
Yeah, okay. It's quite common, isn't it, for accountancy practices to have a range of clients, different types, different shapes, different sizes, different sectors, and so you need a range of solutions to be able to offer. What are the signs that some of those practices might have a need for a system like iplicit?
Yeah, sure. So in the main, iplicit has what we call a one system environment. So what that allows iplicit to do is hold all of the different types of legal entities from a group of companies into one iplicit environment. So if you used to compare that to a Xero or QuickBooks, you'd have to spin up several different instances of those systems, and then all of the apps that you might plug into that, and that becomes quite a big digital landscape to manage over a period of time. So iplicit has got a range of features built into it. That you'd maybe otherwise use apps for across those marketplaces, but it can also handle multi-company and multi-currency requirements. So we can handle things such as consolidated reporting along with like intercompany eliminations. We can handle your multi-currency reporting, so at the click of a drop down you can go and run your balance sheet, your profit and loss rather than GBP sterling. We've got full purchase ordering system in there, including back-to-back sales orders. We also have project and job costing throughout the entire system. We offer a range of unlimited, what we call dimensions. So we know that the entry-level systems offer a limited amount of what they call tracking categories. We offer a range of unlimited dimensions across the entire general ledger. So it really allows people to slice and dice information how they want and produce some really powerful reporting.
So just going back to that question around about what are the signs, what are the indicators that you might see that says might be a solution? You're talking about clients with some quite complex requirements, are you?
Yeah, those with some more complex requirements, those that are part of a group, those that are maybe looking for something where they can get more real-time meaningful data out of their system, through maybe that might be through some process automation around month-end tasks such as prepayments, accruals, revenue recognition, things like that. We've got quite a strong hold in non-for-profits and charities because we can report on fund types like restricted funds, unrestricted funds. We can handle like the SORP and the SOFA reporting and all of that kind of stuff. So it's those clients that need a little bit more than what they're getting out of their current system, or those that are they're actually stitching together quite a lot of different applications, and that landscape's becoming a little bit tricky to start to manage.
Right, so if you're finding you're managing lots of different tech just to deal with what the client needs, then that could be another kind of good hallmark of having to consider some options.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, we've got, for example, we've got built-in authorization workflows. And that's not just limited to the purchase ledger. That can be to authorize things such as new bank details for a supplier. You could authorize a new supplier. You could authorize a new payment run. You could authorize the uploading of a budget. So if you take that, for example, that in the Xero ecosphere would probably be something like Approval Max. So that's already built in. We've got OCR as well. And then further to that, we have all of the reporting and Excel plugin tools, etc., that you'd need, so you can really get your data out of the system and play around with that.
So you kind of started to mention where you fit in with the marketplace. Perhaps just talk to us a little bit more about that. So where do you see yourself fitting in? Because there's obviously those meant for normal SMEs or the smaller businesses, and then there's quite a big jump, isn't there, through to the big ERP system. So where do you sit within that kind of ladder?
Yeah, sure. So I'd say sort of starting point would maybe be around the 10 million turnover threshold point. But there would be instances of clients especially that would be maybe around the 5 or even less, depending on how complex their requirements may be or what they're looking to really get out of their system. If we took a general rule of thumb, you'd probably be saying around the 10 million turnover mark in 20 to 25 employees or more is a sort of rule of thumb, a guide as to where you need to be. And that can kind of go up quite high, really. When we used to talk about the product, it was that we was, for those companies that had outgrown your Zeros and your QuickBooks, but couldn't afford or didn't need the NetSuites and the Dynamics and the Intacts, but actually we're going quite long in the tooth with them when it comes to talking to clients about our offering, and we're stacking ourselves up quite strongly against those types of organisations now. So I think yeah, we really address that white space because I think there is a huge gap between them two offerings, but we can go quite far into the tooth when we look at what they offer, and there's not much that we can't really do that they can.
Right. So even at kind of those more the top end of the marketplace, it's worthwhile having a look because a lot of the functionality is likely to be there.
Yeah, the functionality is there, and also I think from a cost perspective as well, we go live on an average of 16 days, which we know is considerably less than them guys, which typically tend to be in the 50 to 100 days range. That obviously equates to a lot cheaper implementation price. It allows us to get them live a lot quicker, but then license fees as well are a lot more competitive. So yeah, we really sort of do stand our own when it comes to stuff like that. And the whole point of iplicit is it's scalable. So for them businesses that are growing quickly, they can kind of change system and then not really have to worry about it for quite a while thereafter, if at all, because they can scale. iplicit can scale with them.
We know competition is tough out there for accountants. We know there's many reasons why a firm would want to try and differentiate themselves. How does working with iplicit help them do that?
Yeah, sure. I think it gives them a real mid-market offering that I don't think they've really got at the minute. I know, for example, I've been talking to a lot of firms since I started the role in September, and everyone gets and understands where we sit in the marketplace, and they've all agreed and identified that there's a real opportunity in the market for that. And my main objective is just to make people aware of what it is that we do in how we fit into the market, because I can't see there being a scenario where they don't need to talk to us about one of their clients at some point. Now, that might be 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years from now, but they are going to have a client at some point that's going to need what we offer. Because of all the stuff that we've just discussed, where they've got clients that are outgrowing or scaling out of your Zeros and your QuickBooks. I know, for example, during my time at Mazars, there was clients that we had there that when it comes to month end and you are doing them group companies, trying to pull them together and consolidate their accounts can equate to quite a bit of time. So if you've got a piece of software that can do that on your behalf, that means you can become a lot more efficient and either service the same client base with maybe less headcount, or service more clients with the same headcount. And we know that at the minute in the accounting world, recruitment and retention is an issue, and there's a talent shortage out there. So I don't see why that wouldn't interest people.
Yeah, and also that point of differentiation as well about changing the way they work internally is a really, really interesting one. And just reaching new clients, different types of clients, I guess.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, I think traditionally most outsourced models have been built around the Xero and the QuickBooks, which is great, and it's massively scalable and they're fantastic products. But they do run out of legs eventually at some point. And I do think actually that space is becoming a bit of a race to the bottom in terms of price, because people are starting to maybe leave some of these top firms and go off and start up their own practices and offer their own services where they're using things like Dex, Approval Max, and Xero to produce management accounts or VAT returns, etc. And I think a lot of the firms, especially in maybe the top 50, maybe in as far as the top 100, are looking at it and going, is the SME space a space that we really want to massively compete in, or do we actually start to move to that mid-market space, which complements the rest of our offerings, whether that's audit or tax or the corporate finance team? And that presents a lot more opportunities for cross-selling, and you're working with clients that really value and understand your proposition, rather than those clients that are going, oh, you're a bit expensive.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about different ways of working internally and working with different departments. I understand there's some different ways where firms can work actually with iplicit. Could you just run through what those are?
Yeah, sure. So we've got an accountancy partnership program, and in the main, there's sort of 3 core pillars to that. So the first one is just a pure referral scheme. So any accountancy firm that's got a client that thinks they might be interested or might be worth a client having a conversation with us, we will go away, we'll do the full sales cycle, we'll do the full implementation process, and there's a referral scheme set up around that. The second one is the implementation partnership. So that will be either similar to the referral scheme, but actually the accountancy firm gets involved in either some or all of the implementation. And for me, that presents a real opportunity for them because I think traditionally, accountancy firms in the minute are kind of implementing your Xero and your QuickBooks plus some of the apps in the marketplace, but they're kind of stopping there because to really build up maybe a NetSuite team or a Dynamics team takes quite a bit of resource up, and trying to retain their members of staff can be quite challenging. So I think iplicit opens the door to some further implementations, further service work that they might not necessarily have available at the minute. And like I said, that might be they decide to just do the data migration part. They might decide to just do the project management part and we do the rest. But I think it creates an opportunity for them to create some more service revenue. And beyond that as well, for those partners that are really interested in exploring that, I think iplicit would be willing to work with people in the space to outsource some of our own implementations to these accountancy firms, and that gives them the opportunity to work with some mid-market firms they might not have spoken to before, and who knows what opportunities that might bring in the future. And then the third and final one is our outsourced offering. So that is iplicit being the chosen go-to mid-market solution for their outsourced department. And like I said, not looking to replace your Xero or your QuickBooks, but many firms have their SMEs, then they have their mid-market, and then they might have a large and listed space. So we're looking really to provide a solution for that mid-market space so they can build a service offering around it, build a team around that, and then go to market and try and attract those clients. And that brings the benefits of all the stuff that we spoke about a minute ago.
So Matt, sounds like depending on what you want to achieve as a firm, there's an opportunity actually to work very closely with iplicit when you're going through these phases of implementation with your clients.
Yeah, definitely. Look, there's not one size that fits all for everyone. So they partnerships have been designed to give everyone something that they need. And like I said, there's many different departments throughout an accountancy organisation, and it may be that they're all three of them partners at any one point of time. It's very unlikely, for example, that the audit team or the tax team would ever become the implementation partners or outsourcing partners, but they could definitely always be a referral partner because people will undoubtedly come to them at some point and ask about software, etc. Whereas it's more likely that the outsourcing teams or the digital solution teams or the business advisory teams or the consultant teams may be a little bit more involved in an area. So yeah, there's definitely opportunities there for everyone to get involved as much or as little as they'd like.
Brilliant. So Matt Lewns, Partner Manager at iplicit, thank you for going through that with today. And if we're watching this and we want to know a little bit more, what can we do?
Yeah, sure. So we've got a partner webinar coming up on the 27th of April. That is with Stephen Kuhn from BK Plus. So we'll be talking a little bit more there about where iplicit fits in the market. I think a short product demonstration as well. But alternatively, if anyone wants to get in touch and have a conversation about how we could work together and how we could maybe enhance their mid-market offering or just enhance the offerings to their clients, then feel free to drop me a message and we can go through and give you a short product demonstration and show you all of the great things that iplicit can do.
Brilliant. Thank you, Matt. That's a brilliant introduction to iplicit. Just to reinforce, if you want to learn a little bit more, contact Matt, or there's a webinar on the 26th of April.